Hello, my friends. I've just returned back from Brisbane where my son Jack, he had a good day and a not so good day. On his good day, he came 10th at Nationals in the BMX Championship. So he's pretty disappointed because he was hoping to get into the final 5. That was his goal, but he still did really well, I think, anyway. And we had a couple of people that we met up in Brisbane who just said g'day. By the way, if you see me around, say hi. It's always good to speak to you all. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back, all the new subscribers. Welcome back to all the old subscribers. Thank you for supporting the channel. I really appreciate your support. And it's great to catch up with you in person. So if you do see me on the street, say hi. A report has come out within the last 24 hours showing China's electric vehicle sales for the first 3 months of the year. Now, based on my data, showing the sales from all the different electric vehicle manufacturers in China, I knew sales would be up for the quarter, but honestly, I am legitimately shocked that they're up so much. Why am I shocked? Well, in China, the government has essentially gone crazy. Sorry, Chinese government, don't shut me down like you shut down my website when I was in China. About a decade ago, when I was riding my bike through China, I was writing a blog and I wrote a few negative things about the Chinese government, and they literally shut my website down until I left the country. So yeah, don't do that, please. I'm not being too negative, but let's be fair here. You are being maybe a bit over the top about trying to make COVID zero. I mean, realistically, the cat's out of the bag. There's hundreds of thousands of people in China who have COVID. Trying to eliminate it entirely, I don't see how that's going to work. So I was shocked to see these sales because many factories in Shanghai, in some of the places that produce electric cars and make batteries, have been shut down for weeks. And somehow sales of electric vehicles in China are actually up 122% year on year. 122%. People are saying it's going to slow down. Everyone's saying, yeah, electric Viking, yeah, that's all great. That was last year. You know, the market more than doubled last year. That's great, but it's going to slow down. Well, it isn't. In fact, if you consider the fact that some of these factories were shut down for the last 3 weeks of March, some of them, these numbers are absolutely insane. We're talking 122% year-on-year increase. That could have been more than 150% if we didn't have these factory closures. Here are the numbers. China's wholesale sales of new energy passenger vehicles reached 455,000 in March, up 122%, and up 43.6% on February this year. Of that number, you might say, oh, but that's just new energy vehicles. Well, of that number, more than 80% were fully electric cars. 371,000 were fully electric vehicles. Only 84,000 were plug-in hybrids. That means fully electric cars were 81.5% of that total, and plug-in hybrids were 18.5%. However, the more impressive number here is this: wholesale sales of electric vehicles in China from January to March were actually 1.2 million. That's an increase of 145% year on year. So there's 2 different categories here. There's wholesale sales and there's retail sales. Wholesale sales just basically cover all sales of electric vehicles in China. So that's clearly the more impressive number. 1.2 million we're looking at for the first quarter of the year. Now remember, the first quarter of the year in China is always very, very low, very slow. It makes things look like they're not happening in China. So this 1.2 million figure is crazy because we're going to be looking at really probably by the end of this year, at least 3 million in the last quarter of this year. So my predictions of around 8 million, 7 to 8 million electric vehicles sold in China this year appear to be on track for happening, even though you wouldn't think so. But if you look at the chart there, right, you can see that the first quarter of the year is always very, very slow. Of course, once the COVID situation improves in China, which it has to because the Chinese government really has no choice. They can't shut down all these massive factories for indefinitely. They rely on this income, this tax income, this growth in their economy is completely necessary for their economy to keep going. And if they continue to shut down, well, of course, there's going to be huge economic problems in China. So I can't see that happening for the rest of the year, but I could be wrong. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. So seeing 445,000 new energy vehicles or 360,000 purely electric vehicles delivered in March is pretty incredible, seeing these shutdowns. Now that's a 137.6% increase over March of last year. And March of last year, well, these factories were actually open in March of last year. So, 150% minimum increase versus the same period last year. Now, what is most interesting, most striking about all of this is that sales of passenger vehicles in China were actually down 11% versus the same month last year. So the vehicle market has gone down 11%, and yet electric vehicle sales have gone up, well, 137%, but those aren't the true figures, obviously, because of the fact that we're just not seeing those deliveries, those factories be able to operate as normal. I mean, NIO, for example, shut down their factory entirely. Tesla's been shut down, as you know. Many other factories have, and many other brands have been affected. One interesting thing to remember is this is in the midst of price hikes all across the industry. These price hikes don't seem to be affecting the industry at all. For example, BYD increased the price of the Han electric vehicle, yet within 24 hours of it going on sale, they received 50,000 pre-orders within 24 hours. Now, this vehicle isn't particularly revolutionary. I mean, it's a new variant of the Han. It's not really all that different to the old variant. It's a bit better. It's not substantially better. And yet, 50,000 pre-orders in 24 hours. Add those 50,000 to the 400,000 pre-orders BYD already have that they're behind on. You can see the market is going absolutely ballistic in China. Another good reason to know just how big demand is in China is what's going on with Tesla, right? Tesla produced 65,814 vehicles in March. Only 60 were exported. Tesla has incredible demand, the likes of which, well, I don't think ever had. I think demand for Tesla's vehicles, in spite of their constant price increases, is actually increasing in China. The crazy thing is, all the naysayers constantly say this, right? They constantly say, oh, well, once all the competition are coming, Tesla will struggle. Well, the reality is, China is the perfect microcosm as an example to look to say, well, look at all the competition. There's massive amounts of competition in China for Tesla, clearly, right? Many of them undercut Tesla for fairly similar products. But what is happening? Are we seeing a decrease in demand or an increase? Well, clearly we're seeing a big increase. Now, I'm just looking at my numbers here for BYD. First of all, BYD's 5th car plant is reportedly set to start production on April the 15th. What's that? 2 days from now. This new plant will be able to produce an additional 200,000 electric vehicles per year. You can add that to BYD's production this year. In addition, I got those numbers wrong on the BYD Han. BYD received 48,136 orders within 6 hours of launch. Have a great day. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.